So we skipped ahead, and do you remember a distinction between this scene in the marketplace and the white robes, and and then we'll start there.
Mm-hmm.
Was there any linking scenes between those?
Essentially, what it felt like was as if there was this marketplace. People were hustling and bustling. There was like cobra snakes. There was people doing actually a lot of like fire spitting. There was all kinds of stuff going on. And then it was almost like simultaneously everybody in the town or the village knew what was going on, and I didn't know what was going on. It was a huge celebration. It was a huge celebration, or at least an honoring of this god.
Okay. Where were you when that started?
I'm still in the dreams, sort of observing. But at this point, when I realize there's a god that people are honoring, for some reason I feel like I'm being seen more and more.
Let's get the 10-minute mark. You'll see him soon. So you were being honored. You were being honored?
The god was being honored. Raw.
Mm-hmm. And everyone around you is...
All of a sudden, instantaneously, the marketplace is doing hustling and bustling. I'm feeling self-doubt, and then there's like this like switch just real quick, but yet everybody seems to know immediately what's going on point. It's really interesting, because there was no cue or no one giving any orders. It was just like a simple, for some reason everybody knew, oh, we're celebrating the god Ra, and now it's time. I almost felt, my imagination sees it in a way of like, if there was this big battle and then the god Ra was responsible for the victory of the battle, that they were like honoring and paying homage and celebrating the god Ra for the victory of the war. That's what it felt like.
Were you interacting with anyone there?
Nope. Emotionally. As they began to say Ra, I emotionally began to interact. Not verbally, but like emotionally, and I felt like I was seen.
You felt like you were seen?
And when the Ra was coming, that's why I was afraid. When there was Ra, I felt like they were calling. It was interesting because I was being seen more and more as they called out Ra as like these white robed people who had really dark skin like me too, and a little darker actually, were like marching and doing their Ra. It was as if it was like evoking something inside of me that felt like I was really afraid to. That's a part of me that I didn't know. That feels actually right now in the moment feels pretty scary.
Where do you feel that in your body?
Heart, chest.
And is that the only place you feel that in your
back?
Body?
Back.
Back's still going on.
Yeah.
Tracking an emotion in a dream helps you to uncover what part of your emotional body is being influenced, is being brought up and affected by the message that you're bringing forth in the dream space. So you have...
in general, man, it's all tense. The whole body tenses up.
Okay.
In general, like it's the
shoulders.
shoulders.
And the chest.
Chest, heart, back.
Back.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked a little bit earlier off camera, and you have tightness and clawing sensations starting from the base of your spine, going up and around your torso.
Yeah.
And we had the sense that that might be beginning of a Kundalini experience. Right now you have energy in your chest, heart space, and power. So you've got this celebration going on. Everyone's focused. They're chanting Ra, and that's a power mantra, as well as calling forth Ra. And then you have fear around that. So while I wouldn't call it a nightmare, because there's fear present, you can still use the same approach. So most likely you're re-engaging a source of power. You're re-accessing that. And it's a power source that you've been disconnected from for a while. The way to work with that would be to send your breath into your chest while imagining that scene. Stance and rage, heat ripples. Were you still naked at this point?
No, I wasn't. I had a white cloth on too at this point.
You had a white cloth.
Like everybody else.
So you were now
At this
part.
point, yeah, and I remember the shoes. I had like a specific footwear on for some reason that I recall.
Was it like the footwear of the other people?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So you went. So the dream began with not being a part of what was going on, being separate from it, and then suddenly you were a part of it. So of things going on in your life right now, there may be an experience of having come to someplace new, feeling not connected, going through the process, engaging your power. This is kind of the story like the last 2 weeks or so. And now you are part of this group and they are chanting their power. So your power may look like something else. But right now, your spirit is manifesting the energy of Ra, sun god. We're filming in Sedona right now, so quite a bit of sun here. So if another way to look at the analogy is if you have a particular association with Ra. Like, does Ra mean anything to you?
No, not until I started doing some research after the dream. But
since then it did. But no positive, no negative, nothing particular. When you have images come up in a dream space, and you're not sure why it is or where they came from, put your attention on some of the details and find out what your emotional response is to those details. That'll lead you to what you're processing, what emotion your system wants to bring up so that it can deal with it. If you're dealing with power, then that's one of your access points. And if you don't have a particular connection to that source, one option is it's past life energy coming through. One option is you saw that image somewhere recently, and that's the most recent image of power that your spirit chooses to bring forth to get you to feel it. So your follow-up dreams may have power, but it may look completely different. Now that you've looked at it and go, oh, came from somewhere else, was separate, I'm integrating, and there's power present now.
Wow, that's interesting that you say that, only because I had done a little bit of time briefly studying the history of astrology and looking how it passed on from civilization to civilization. And what I came to was this, essentially this one moment where moon worshipping and sun worshipping were like the last, like two, I guess, pillars guiding humans spiritually. And during this time was when the sun became victorious over the moon, and the moon worshipping was devalued. And that information I knew before.
So that
from studying the astrology, so that might have an influencing.
Sure, but there's also that's in there. What's also in there is because you have a wide range, an infinite range of imagery and experiences to draw on for your dream imagery. It's interesting that your system chose this imagery to bring up now.
Right.
So, something to pay attention to. There's something in there.